$585,7744.
Yeah. Yeah.
I knew two numbers were the same.
That's it.
I was trying to think, I think I remember that because that's the year we got married. 74 and 74.
Don't want to forget that day, huh? Don't want to forget that day.
7th month, 4th day, 74. 74. And that's coming up.
Excuse me.
48.
Pardon me.
Yeah. I've been in prison that long.
I think she's a pretty good gal.
She wants to be.
It's all that way, always
She'll
that
be
way.
like all the rest of them, she wants to be
Yeah.
too. Of course, I guess I can too.
Yeah, we all get our turn.
We got the prosecutor.
For that.
Stop there.
Yeah.
Look, the kid's with the babysitter tonight. Lincoln's with the babysitter tonight.
He is.
Probably grandpa.
His aunt he grew up with.
Is there on your copy? No, because you showed me.
Yeah. We'd like to believe her, but that's not the case. All right, folks, it's 6 o'clock. I'm calling the meeting to order. If you would, please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Instead of a prayer this evening, I'd like to take a moment of silence to remember Harley Melton. We lost him today, a longtime servant of Owen County. And so if you would, I'll just keep him in your prayers. Take a moment and think of him and Greg and his family. Thank you. Thank you all very much. Greg, we're all here for you for anything we can do for you, sir. If you haven't signed up, there is a sign-up sheet over there. We've got a pretty brief meeting, so hopefully we can get in and out here pretty quick this evening. First up, we have the approval of minutes for June the 6th.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I have a motion by Bob. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a second by Dale. All in favor?
Aye.
In the matter of claims, I'll have Jim briefly do a financial and then we'll move forward.
Yeah, Commissioners, I went at the previous council meeting, kind of went into this in depth, probably took about 30 minutes, so that this won't be anywhere near that because we're just talking about our claims on June 20th. But all of your major operating funds have a positive balance. As far as putting a qualifier on those, they don't look to have what you consider a good positive balance at this time. The general fund, at least as of after these claims are paid. So if you start with the balance on the 15th and then tonight's claim, there would still be a balance of roughly $1.5 million in the general fund. Lit Edit is also an important fund for the county. It is in the range of approximately $669,000. All of your other major funds, your highway fund, and what you're paying claims out of for tonight all have positive balances with two exceptions, and both of those are grants. Those are both reimbursable grants. So the 9149 aspiration is kind of talked about that. It's a community corrections. That's not uncommon. The claim comes in, it's reimbursed, so that's not unusual. The 9167 is a hazard grant. It's also reimbursable. It is up to 12,000. I would like to get to with the auditor between now and into July and just see as far as what's the status as far as that reimbursable. But all of the claims that you would be approving tonight, with those two exceptions just mentioned, all do have positive balances. The reason there's 1.5 million in the general right now, the property tax settlement did occur in May, and has been deposited in. Owen County was one of the first counties in the state to do that, at least in the top 3. A couple things of concern, just a little bit. One isn't really that insightful. It's just driving in fuel still over $5 a gallon, diesel at $6. I'm fully aware that as far as Alliance, that our county vehicles aren't just pulling up at one of the retail, but they are affecting that. So there is definitely concern in the area. We talked about gasoline, diesel fuel. That situation is not getting better. The highway, it's definitely not concerning, but the June split for the MVH was roughly in the range of about 129,000. So that is more than last year at this time, but just in May it was 142. So it could be anecdotal, it may not mean anything, but just, I guess one of those things as far as back of the mind of just noting that yes, I'm getting the split, but at least for this month, it was lower than the past month as far as that revenue coming in. And the local road and street was kind of the same thing. It's still more than it was in 2021, but it was a little lower than the last month. That's a little peculiar because, as commissioners, as you well know, in August, there's historical. August is always low. So we're going to expect in August to have a much lower distribution of MVH and local road and street. That's historical year after year after year. So June wasn't great. We have July, and we know that August won't be. So as we're looking through the highway, as far as projects or expenditures out there, just something to be concerned about that besides July, we're not expecting a bunch of revenue coming in. But that would be just a synopsis of where we're at. Again, about a 3.2 million turnaround from in general fund from this point now to about a year ago.
Thank you, Jim. And those highway revenues, so the public understands, are tied to fuel tax. And as fuel continues to go up and the less driving that we do as public, the less revenue that we have coming in. So we need to keep that in mind as far as projects moving forward for the highway department, because our revenue source will probably decline as these expenses continue to go up. So I just want to touch on that real quick. Gentlemen, have any other questions before we move forward? All right. Do I hear a motion to approve regular claims, $337,878.93? Do I hear a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion by Bob, seconded by Dale. All in favor? Aye. Payroll in the amount of $221,913.82. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I make a motion, we approve $221,913.82.
I have a motion by Bob, seconded by Dale. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And the last claim is out-of-cycle claims for a total of $19,939.34.
I make that motion.
I have a motion by Bob. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second by Dale. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I don't think there's anything to discuss on the ARPA fund review.
If I might, just a very quick update. So the first distribution of the ARPA came in roughly about a year ago. those plans have been approved as far as the specific expenditures. At least as of Friday, the second wave or the second distribution had not come in. There's an expectation that that will be done soon. So commissioners, once that is in, the actual ARPA plan will need to be updated, not for the general plan, that's already been done, but for the specifics as far as lost revenue. We'll need to list the departments that will be affected by the retained revenue, so that will come before you. I would anticipate that the earliest obviously would be the July 5th meeting, or it could be the second meeting in July. But for everyone to understand, there's no change in the plan, the vote, the program, but what the Department of Treasury would like to see is specifics. So when Owen County is going to recover lost revenue for the general fund and other funds, we just need to be in that plan, just have the specific departments mentioned. That's all that will be approved by you as the commissioners. It can go to the very next county council for the actual appropriation. I would say 99% of this work, probably 99.9, will fall on the auditor's office as far as making sure that the proper payments are then taken directly out of the ARPA.
Thank you, Jim. And I think that was discussed in the council meeting with the auditor at the last meeting, so. Okay. Prosecutor Don, if you want to come on up.
Got Chief Deputy Ben with me. I think he presented a contract for services that have already been performed and are in the position or in the process of being performed.
Yeah, we approved it at the last meeting,
Yeah.
just waiting for the next step here.
I don't know whether it's been worrying about things that he doesn't need to or not, but it was suggested to us that the contract shouldn't be signed until we execute a uniform conflict of interest disclosure statement, since Ben Kim, while he works for the state of Indiana, he does work for a county office here in Owen County. He is the beneficiary of this contract. There are 3 other employees that are classified as employees, so they are not covered by the contract, but because Ben works for the state of Indiana and performs services, they suggested that be done. So Ben has a copy of the uniform disclosure. I don't know whether that was included in your packet.
It was, that itself wasn't, but the fact that there should be one performed, yes.
So he has a copy of that now. I'll have him present that to you for your review. I don't see a place where the commissioners will sign that. I believe that it's approved through the commissioner meeting in a public forum, so we would ask the public if they had any comment on it. If they don't, then it'll be in your minutes that it's approved. Then I will execute the uniform disclosure. It'll be filed with the auditor and the State Board of Accounts as well. And then we can execute the contract, send both of those to the Indiana Criminal Justice Institute. Then he can begin getting reimbursement for the work that he's already been performing.
I think that has to be filed with the clerk's office, not the auditor's office.
Clerk's office, I mistook that, and the State Board of Accounts. So we are prepared to do that if you want to review that document before.
Sure. Thank you. Jim, have you looked at this?
I've not seen I've seen a conflict of interest, I've not seen that.
Okay,
It's a conflict of interest.
yeah, you have it there.
Yeah, I have a copy here.
Yeah, I thought we attached it, that's okay. Jim, would you like to review that? I think there was an email chain between you, Ben, and Sheila regarding that.
Yeah, there's no issue of any kind.
Question I've got, and again, standard form, but it just says elected official. I wonder who signs in that particular spot.
Ben?
I think because I'm an employee, I'm appointed, I think the way I understood it was that it's the head of my agency that would sign. So we're asking that the commissioners approve it, because part
Sure.
of what the statute requires is that it must be submitted and accepted at a public meeting.
Right.
So
I just wanna
think
make
it's
sure that we don't need to
reserved.
put, okay,
I believe so. If we're wrong, we'll bring it back and have somebody else's signature.
right, because it says prosecutor's office and then it says elected official in the other, so I just wanna make sure that we got it covered for everyone.
And just since we don't have public meetings in the prosecutor's office, we thought that would be the best forum to present it here and contact the county attorney and the commissioners.
So do I hear a motion to approve the conflict of interest for Ben Kim?
I'll make a motion, we approve the conflict of interest for being Ken.
Have a motion by Bob, seconded by Dale, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
One last thing, it was hearsay, but it was my understanding that in paragraph F, you were gonna talk about take-home vehicles.
Doesn't pertain to you.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure.
Commissioner appointed positions only.
Okay, perfect. Just wanted to make sure that we didn't hang out for the wrong reason. Thank you,
Nope.
gentlemen.
Nope. Thank you.
Might be.
All right, Greg, we're gonna move you up here for obvious reasons.
Thank you, commissioners. I've got a few things for you here this evening that I need to speak to you about. Just a report in regard to employees. Today we had 15 employees at work. 5 were out due to illness or family matters, et cetera. I have 2 full-time positions open and 7 part-time, no applications. I'd like to reiterate what Gary said in regard to our revenue coming in. People are starting to have a budget because of fuel prices, and that's the reason we're gonna start seeing lower revenues monthly. Hauser Road, Bridge 149, comes up today. There's a wooden bridge on Hauser Road, and commissioners, I am requesting that you deem this situation on Hauser Road an emergency and allow me to lower the weight limit to 4 tons. It has a weight limit on it now of 16 tons. It was damaged during last year's flood. We did some repairs. I received a call and we have been unable to track down the company, but we will continue to try to do so. But 3 loaded triaxles crossed that bridge and snapped the tensioners underneath the bridge. This bridge is used by farmers in general and the Amish community. So we do believe if we lower the weight to 4 tons, they will be able to use it as normal pickup trucks. I think the local farmers, we worked with some of them and we'll be able to ford the creek for a while till we can make a replacement. My proposal would be, commissioners, that some of these things we already have on our lot, so we won't need to purchase them. But I would just up the stream about 300 foot on Steubenville Road. We replaced Bridge 140 with a large pipe and 2 relief pipes. I propose that we do this at a cost of materials of somewhere around $44,592.50. Now that's, some of these products we already have on premises, some we will have to purchase. And then I would request that we put it out to a local contractor to replace.
We're gonna supply all the materials, we're just looking for labor on it.
Supply the materials.
Okay.
But I wouldn't need, I have spoken with the engineers, and I wouldn't need it deemed an emergency for me to lower the weight limit.
Gentlemen, you have any discussion on this? Go ahead and take a motion to deem Bridge 149 an emergency at this time to lower the weight limit to 4 ton and for Greg to get out quotes for the labor replacement.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, commissioners. Commissioners, I know that you have all received many complaints in regard to potholes. and we are working every day. We're running the hole patchers daily. But, I've got a couple of issues that where roads have been patched, and, some may disagree, or at least citizenry, because they may think their location, should deem this work. But I have to start somewhere. So I went to my complaints, and I would request the commissioners allow me, or the highway department, between Steubenville Road and Delaney Road, lay 110 ton of spot paved asphalt at a cost of $8,800. We could lay this with the paver, and smooth out some areas, because gentlemen, there are no holes to patch. It's just absolutely that rough. And that would be my first request. The second request would be on Hollybrook Road from State Road 67 on the Gosport end to the bridge. It would take 350 ton of asphalt at the cost of $28,000. And then my third request, commissioners, you're all aware that we went through a process of vote. Jim wrote an agreement. We did some major work on Market Street in Quincy to correct some drainage issues. Therefore, in order to complete this project and make a proper repair, we would need to lay some asphalt. And to do that, I need commissioner approval for that portion. Although you approved the other part of the project, the paver never moves unless it's in front of the commission. Let's see, we have three. And what I have before you, commissioners, my assistant provided you with a copy to pave all of Market Street in Quincy, which would take 620 tons at a cost of $49,600. Realizing that our budget is the way it is, an option that would get us by would pave Market Street to Front Street in Quincy with 120 ton at a cost of $9,600. I would prefer to pave the entire street while we're there, but the $9,600, the 120 tons would do the work over where we have done drainage. We would have to do this out of 1173.
I come up with a ballpark for all three of these with the figures that you've presented at $76,000.
That's correct.
We have yet to spend any actual highway money for road repair. We've been using ARPA funds other than patching. How do you feel that your budget is capable of handling this?
Well, commissioners, I will tell you, fuel is a huge concern. And you could ask Jim, we have curbed our fuel consumption because basically have parked 4 dump trucks a day. And we are, using people to do different jobs. But our 1173 fund is in pretty good shape. I would not have presented these if I hadn't have thought we could do them, so.
I don't know how you gentlemen feel. We gotta continue to keep up the roads the best that we possibly can. This is a fairly small number. It's not like we're asking for a couple $100,000 here. And we've been fortunate with the ARPA funds this year to repair the roads, do our chip and seal. So we've really done nothing with the highway budget this year other than our normal maintaining of patching holes and mow trim, those type of things. Any comments?
I have none. If he's got the funds, we need to do it.
Do I hear a motion to approve? And I would just soon approve all three at one time.
I'll make a motion to approve all three.
I'll second it.
Have a motion by Bob for Beverly Road, Market Street, Quincy, and Hollybrook Road, for the description that Greg has given us. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you, commissioners.
I know you'll continue to pinch pennies.
We will. Commissioners, I have spoken with Jim about the next issue. I've spoken with Suzanne Simmerman. But I'm going to bring this up in front of the board for some direction. Parr Avenue, which is off of County Line Road. Citizens in this subdivision believe that this has been adopted by the county some time back. And we can't put a finger on exactly when that is. Jim and I have tried to work through that process, and we probably need to go to 18 and start working backwards and look through commissioners' minutes.
And sign all of them.
That being said, there is a complaint there in regard to a culvert that needs replaced. We have looked at it, and it does need replaced. It has a bottom out of it. I don't think it's a danger in regard to a car falling through it or anything like that now, but we're gonna have to figure out, is this our road? Now, so the commission is aware, and this goes back to when Owen County started 911 and got a grant for signs. If it was a private road, it had a blue sign. If it was a county road, it had a green sign. Now, I am not going to tell you that during my tenure or in the past that there hasn't been a county dump truck that has plowed that, because when they're sent out to plow, they plow roads that have green signs, and that may be where the citizens have that opinion, or it truly may have been done, because the information that I had received and provided to Jim, it sounds like that may have been adopted and never got to the process of, many years ago with the highway department, but,
There's gotta be an ordinance on it somewhere.
well, we believe Jim will ask, it's probably in a set of commissioners minutes somewhere.
I've not seen anything, so the only possible existence would be perhaps in 2017, 2018, if it exists at all, but I cannot locate any type of ordinance that's adopted those roads.
But it is I will, all, or at least one of you will probably start receiving calls about that, because we've had to take the stance, this is a private road until proven otherwise.
And we'll have to
And
maintain that.
it may be very well a county road, but it's never been submitted that way, and it doesn't show that it is ours on our inventory.
And we've run into these issues before, so until we have proof, we'll sit firm.
The next thing, and Jim has been working on this, commissioners, is dust control in front of residents. Because of the absolute horrid rising cost in these products, the old process of the citizen with health problems going to the commissioners, and then the commissioners directing the highway department to put dust control down, cannot be sustained by our budget. Gentlemen, to put dust control down on 300 feet of road, 18 feet wide, costs the highway department now $1,380. A normal residence would want somewhere between 300 and 500 foot, and if you put 500 foot of dust control down, it would cost $2,300. I worked with Jim And we are going to ask that you pass a resolution tonight that we be able to, put dust control down, if a citizen wishes, at their cost. Now, commissioners, I do want to address this for 2022. There are some locations that citizens have been told, because they met the criteria in the past years, that we would put the dust control down this year. And we do have a tanker load at the highway department, but until we spoke about this resolution, we haven't put any down. I would request that if the commissioners approved that in 2021, because it's always been, if they had it the prior year, because of medical reasons, they got it the next, that we be allowed to put that dust control down. And then I would ask that you adopt this ordinance to go forward where the citizens are well aware a year in advance that they would have to pay for the dust control. And if it's a new situation, they would have to pay for the dust control now. Now, Jim has the full resolution, but that is my request. I think it's the only fair thing.
What does a tanker of the oil cost us, Greg?
I've got the bill right here.
$2.25 a gallon, however many gallons you get. Just have to rewrite that to it for a year.
Check with Jim and see how we want to proceed.
$22,338.
So with the commitments that we have from previous years, will that tanker be gone?
Yes.
So just with the list that we have from previous health issues, COPD, at whatever that they have given us, yes.
That is it, the tanker that I have on the lot.
Jim, if we go ahead and pass this resolution, because Greg now has asked for us to put it into effect next year after we've already committed to the list, how do we do that, since it doesn't state that in this resolution?
No, the resolution has no waivers and no exceptions. The resolution is what it is. If you want it, be as candid and as most clearly I can. If you want it, you pay for it. I mean, there is no ambiguity as far as this resolution. So if the resolution is passed, the resolution goes in effect after the publication by the law, which goes in. It wouldn't make it this Wednesday, but it'd go on the 29th. So in a very short period of time. But there's nothing in this resolution about waivers or prior years or anything in any way like that. This is beginning with the adoption of this resolution. If you would like this, you would contact the highway department. Highway department would say how many feet in increments of 100. The person would present their check, it's paid in advance, and then the highway department would go out and apply the dust application. But there's absolutely nothing about any waiver.
Commissioners, I just was giving my feeling in regard to what citizens has already been advised. I am in favor of this ordinance, don't get me wrong, our budget cannot sustain the dust control. As a person, as a citizen who has been told something, I like for people to keep their word. So what I am telling you is I'm just presenting what I think is the right thing to do, but it's also the right thing to do to charge for it. So whatever this commission decides, is what we do.
I've got to agree with you, Greg. I mean, we've kind of made a commitment to these people in the past. Granted, $22,000 is a lot of money. People choose to live where they live. But I don't want to just cut them off at the knees, and I think Bob kind of feels that way. I'm not sure how Dale feels about this.
We can't afford to do it for free. you know, ours was too high price. But there is one thing we used 20-some years ago. We used a Jew selling tree sap. And it was, I don't know if they checked on that price or not, but I imagine it's high dollar too.
Yeah, there's a,
We've checked on different products, commissioners. We've checked on calcium chloride, we've checked on beet juice. I believe that this is the cheapest solution. Calcium chloride appears cheaper on the surface, but we have went to LTAP to find out just exactly how to make it work properly. And after watching the webinars and reaching out and speaking to them personally, calcium chloride needs worked with the road grader the first time it's applied, and then the calcium chloride needs laid another 2 times. So you'd be laying the product 3 times, and after you lay the product 3 times, it's twice as much as this is.
more than the oil.
The first time it's not, but when you add the other 2, it is.
I make a motion we table this until we kick it down the road a little farther to discuss it.
Bob, we made a motion that we table at this time for further discussion. I agree, I feel that it needs to be paid for, but I also know that we've made commitments previous, so we need to discuss how we're gonna handle this moving forward. So I'm gonna second your motion, Bob, until the next meeting.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Thank you, commissioners.
thank you. Sorry, Nicole, about let that one get away from us there on the vote.
Okay.
And we do have the information that you need for the budget to give to Jim and yourself this evening.
Okay, I can go ahead and take it then if you've got copies of it. Thank you, sir.
The bridge is printed out, but the rest of it's handwritten, but it's all there, Gary. That's, I went off what we did last year.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and the last thing we have is the Fiddler Road Community Crossing Project.
A little bit of very quick background on Fiddler Road. This is a community crossings matching grant program, so this is not, and this is not necessarily what you consider 1173 restricted project. This is part of the community crossings. So community crossings area, this is for approximately 5,280 feet. That's a 20-foot road. It's a section of Fiddler Road. It is not the entire road. It's a particular section between Stone Mountain Road to Smith Road. So that's the area, 5,280 feet wide, 20-foot width. Now, we do not know what the bids are, but on a community crossings grant, you have to make it, when the highway puts in, they have to make an estimated cost. The estimated cost on this project is $148,789. That has nothing to do with what the bids are, but that's a requirement. So the Owen County has preliminarily received a award letter for this project. The NDOT portion, based on the $148,789, is NDOT is committed to $111,592. That's approximately 75% of the estimated. Owen County then, this is grant match, Owen County share is the remaining of the 25%. Based on the estimated, it would be roughly $37,197. These are purely estimates. The Owen County Council for the Community Crossing Grant, in their lit edit fund, has appropriated approximately $250,000 for a match of community crossings. So before we even open the bids, that's how this would be funded. 75% community crossings, 25% by Owen County, specifically out of the lit edit community crossings line item. Timelines, for those, May 16th, the Owen County Commissioners approved this bid packet to go out. There was publications in the newspaper on May 25th of 2022 and June 8th of 2022. Those were the two publications as required by law. On June 20th, which is today's meeting, we'll now proceed with the opening of the bids for the consideration of the commissioners. If you so award a bid, this project was scheduled to begin on July 6th of 2022, and it would conclude on September 30th of 2022. We're kind of doing things a little, one break orders off, and I think probably one of my email packets did not go the right way. So the reason I'm making this real long statement, intent to award and the notice to proceed, probably if you have to award that, are gonna have to be signed on the 5th. We have the contract here today. We have the contract, but we'll need two other documents, but that can easily be done prior to this project. The contract, absolutely, if you wanna go ahead and sign that tonight, if you have an awarded bid, we can go ahead and do that. It is critically important that the signed contract go to NDOT. NDOT will not award any community crossings grant without a signed contract. So that's all the preliminaries. So we'll go to and then take a look at the two bids. But prior to 6 o'clock of the day, there were two bids that were received, EB Paving and Milestone Contractors, and both submitted bids and met the proper time. For those concerned who want to know, there's two other bids on the table. We have another bid project later this evening, commissioners, considering the roof on what was considered the health building. So if anyone's wondering why I'm opening up these two and not these two, these are unrelated projects. So the first one is from Milestone Contractors. They are located out of Bloomington, Indiana. And this was filed, and this is for the Fiddler Road Community Crossing resurfacing. Okay, this is from Milestone. Milestone did the bid proposal. Need to double check and make sure they're responsive. They have sealed, they have their surety bond, paperwork, and it has been notarized and it has been sealed. Returning, it has been notarized and it's been signed. I can feel the seal on it. And that is awesome. By these type of constructions, there has to be drug, they have to file, this is about a 32-page packet that Owen County sends out. There's a drug testing. It has been signed. In order, employment eligibility certification has been signed and it is in order. Non-collusion affidavit has signed and it has the notary and it's signed. 2 pages. Owen County does its own addendum as far as a number of different, including non-collusion, no investment in Iran. They have completed that. They have signed it and their signature. The domestic steel affidavit has been signed and it has been notarized. Form 96 is required on all of these projects. They have completed it and filled it. Then on this other paperwork, this is internal documents that are required as far as prior contracts and where they have worked. It's been filled out. Those are appropriate. This is all the different type of equipment that they have. That's why I'm through all that. This is just pages of prior equipment and prior jobs. Contractor's financial statement is in order. Order liabilities, certifications. Again, Owen County requires the 2 non-collusion affidavits, and that's both been done. E-verify affidavit is signed and notarized. And then this is the contract bid, the bonds, and the bylaws that they have. And then this is all of their substance abuse programs. So they would be considered a responsive bidder, so that would be in order. So folks know, this is a bid proposal. This is from Milestone Contractors. This is for section 1 of Fiddler Road. The price per ton laid is $104.75 per ton. The estimated tonnage is 1320 surface, 660 wedge. The total bid price, $207,405. $207,405, that is the total bid price for Fiddler Road. And their bid has been notarized and signed. Second bid is from EB Paving. It is also sealed at right on time. Okay, just about the size of it, EB Paving, I need to go through kind of the same documents. EB Paving is also bid at 496. It has been completed, and it has been sealed and notarized and signed. This is a bid proposal. This is done. Okay, now, this is the bid bond, signed, notarized. That, notarized, by laws. They have completed their drug testing, and have signed that. Employee eligibility certification sealed, non-collision affidavit sealed and notarized. Owen County addendum, inserted, it has been signed and it has been notarized. Their drug testing, their own internal policy, just through here, it has been signed. Correct. Domestic steel affidavit, signed, notarized. Standard financial statement, that is complete. And plans and equipment, prior equipment, details to assets, certificate of liability insurance. These are all just the required financial documents that they have inserted. Their certificates of qualification, and then the same description of prior work and multiple pages of different equipment that they have available. They would also be considered a responsive bidder. So the bid proposal, this is from E&B Paving. B Paving bid for Fiddler Road, one section. Price per laid per ton, $109, $109. Estimated tonnage of 1320, surface 660 wedge. Their total bid is $215,820. Their total bid for one section of Fiddler Road, $215,820. Gentlemen, those are both responsible bidders. Again, one is 207,405. One is for 215,820.
Commissioners, we work with all companies and come up with, when we do community crossing grants, to make estimates. And as you all know, when we did this, it was many months ago, and prices had went up. I realize that it's grant money, but we have come in way over budget. I ask that the commissioners reject both bids.
Unfortunately, I hate to turn money back to the state, but we're talking $52,000 out of your budget over and above. If you use the 148 with the 25% that we talked about, that's an additional 52,000. We are going to resubmit all of these roads again in July, is that correct?
Yes.
Obviously, we're gonna have to cut some of these roads back because of the cost.
As the public may or may not be aware, the county's GIS has been worked out now, but when the community crossing roads were done prior to this year, I myself personally went out and measured the roads, graded the roads, and turned in the footage. The state of Indiana, NDOT works directly off of the county's GIS, and the county's GIS didn't match what the state had, so that's the reason we didn't get the full amount of money. that has now been corrected, and we could reapply for the full amount in July. So my request would be is to reject this and resubmit for everything in July with better numbers.
I will have to agree with that. It's the times that we're in, the inflation rate, has got the best of us. And the best of the taxpayers as well. So, I'm gonna make a motion that we reject both bids due to the inflation rated cost of additional $52,000 over what was budgeted.
Second that.
I have made a motion myself, seconded by Bob, all in favor? Aye. 3-0.
Apologize for that recommendation, but thank you, Commissioner.
We have no choice at this time. We are going to have to relook at those roads that were on that plan because of the inflated cost. Somebody's gonna have to, we're gonna have to cut that list down.
Yes.
So between now and the next letting, we'll have to have a workshop or something at the highway department to figure out what we're gonna do.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you.
I would like to report, Commissioners, that 3 of our 4 road counters that were damaged have been repaired. They were repaired at no cost by Nick Zimmerman, one of our citizens who had the capability of doing that. He took them and he was able to get them working again. All of those had been damaged by vandalism. There was one beyond repair.
Well, at least we saved 3 out of the 4.
Yes.
Thank you. And thank you, Nick.
I think we ought to let him send him a letter of recognition.
Yeah, we'll send him a,
Fine.
send him out a thank you or something.
We will take care of that. And then, Commissioners, I would like to be excused, but how long will it be until you speak about vehicles?
We actually can probably, for the highway discussion, we're gonna limit you to the 2 superintendent, assistant superintendent only.
Okay.
Because those are vehicles that are going out, cutting trees, whatever, all of the vehicles will be parked.
Thank you.
So that'll save you.
Thank you.
And so the citizens are aware, we've cut back to 4 days a week at the highway department, trying to save some fuel as well. Thank you. Ron, we're gonna bring you up here now and give you your 10 minutes of fame. Ron Remack from our health insurance provider.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean it. Great, as always, we appreciate the opportunity not only to report, but to serve you every day and county employees. So this is an important time as we, even though we're months away from the actual renewal date, and this is again for the group medical, the renewal date is actually January 1. It's important that we start preparing strategies for the upcoming renewal and let you know where you stand. And if anybody is near wood, I would ask you to knock on wood because I've got a lot of good news, but the knocking on wood is just a caveat to let you know I can't predict, none of us can predict future claims, but the plan is running extremely well right now. I'm going to go through this report quickly. Please stop me along the way if there's any questions, and even after this meeting in the days ahead, please let us know. This is Brittany Doring. Brittany's from our office at Dulce Associates. She's your account manager and does a terrific job working with your employees as an advocate. And then I'll introduce Corey here in a second. So if you go to this page, it'll just show you really the most important thing or one of the most important things for you to understand is the first, under one, employer group claims expense. And again, we are not near the end of the period of time that they would make a final decision, because again, the renewal is not till January. But so far, you're running at about 57% ratio from premiums paid in to claims paid out. That's a really good number, and the numbers behind the numbers are even more encouraging. I do again want you to proceed with caution, but I wanted to point some of these out. Some of the numbers behind the numbers under 2, the per member per cost is at $148.88, which is 76% lower than it was the same period last year. Inpatient facility, which is basically hospitalization, 89% lower. Outpatient facility, 53% lower. Professional costs, 35% lower. Ancillary costs are 82% lower. Pharmacy costs, generics are down 263%. Brand name costs are down 19%, and specialty RX drugs are down 4.45%. I'm gonna stop there because, one of the things that you and us as your advisors have been trying to discern is the value of the clinic. And I am by no stretch, we're not representing the clinic whatsoever. You'll have that report probably in a month as they try to get out and educate and communicate to get even more involvement. I would say though, that some of the more positive numbers could be related to the usage of the clinic. I'm not saying by any stretch of imagination, it's all of them, but there's some things, and that's, for example, with the clinic, those costs for your typical outpatient clinic, sore throat, cough, flu, that type of thing, people who are using the clinic, those claims are not going against this plan. Same thing with the majority of the prescriptions are getting taken care of at the clinic. So again, you are paying for the clinic, and ultimately that's for you to decide, maybe after the next month reporting, to discern, and as your advisors, we will give you our own discernment, decide if it's worth the return on investment. But these numbers are very positive. High claimants, under C, high claimants are any member, it can be an employee, it can be a spouse, it can be a child, that has claims over $50,000. And for a group of your size, only having one, again, knock on wood so far, is tremendous. Typically, you would see for a size group like this, anywhere from 3 to 5 high claimants. Right now, you only have one high claimant, at least as far as we are, that the insurance company knows of, and that's an ongoing claim for some severe rheumatic and other connective tissue disease. High dollar claimants account for just 1.66% of the overall claims. Typically in other plans, you're gonna see that at 15 or 20%. High dollar claimants account for 28% of all the RX claims paid. And again, you only have one high dollar claimant. And that high dollar claimant, interesting enough, medical, they've paid out only $3,800 for this high claimant. 73,000 of that, or excuse me, 73,000 has gone to the prescription, to show you how costly those particular drugs are. Okay? Medical utilization, this is interesting. 4 hospital admissions compared to 11 the same period last year. Average stay of those admissions is 3 days, which is 62% lower than it was for the same period of time last year. So the bottom line, and you'll see that the detail for the total premiums and claims are on the attached 2 pages. And if you go to the last page, which looks like this, you'll see where I've circled the numbers that I came up with. The total premium, if everybody's with me, year to date for this period of time has been $848,000. They have paid out basically 57% of that in claims. If that continues, That is a really strong message for us as your long-time advisors to say, you know what? This is a good group for you. These are people that have been loyal to your cause because you've now been with them several years. They participated in the Healthy Results Program. That Healthy Results Program, if you remember, that as long as we had 50% of the people participate in a voluntary blood work that gives them that baseline study, gives them not only that private information that only goes to the insured, but then they also get coaching for anything that blood study might show, that we were able to secure through IU Health Plans a 2-year rate guarantee. This is it, as a reminder, this is the second year of that rate guarantee. But what we know from IU Health Plans on our other groups, and we have lots of groups with Anthem, lots of groups with United Healthcare, we're not just IU Health Plans, but when it is a good fit, like it has seemed to be here, if this kind of claims history continues, we will make a strong stand for basically, and again, please don't quote me because we have some time, I want to use that disclaimer, for a rate hold and to lock that in for a 2-year period of time. If you absolutely need to build something in, you can't get an absolute from the insurance company, and it doesn't matter what carrier it's going to be. But if in a week or 10 days or whenever that final date is that you need to plug something in, I might buffer in 3 to 5%, but if you buffer in that 3 to 5%, I'm telling you, we will not advocate for anything more than what you deserve. Okay, and that's our role, because we don't represent the insurance company, you're our client. So, again, knock on wood, things are going extremely well. We'll help you look at the Proactive MD clinic discussion to see if the investment is worth it or not. But excellent news here. We do know that in our dealings with IU Health Plans the last few days to try to tell them about your budget. You're not the only client we have that has a mid-year budget need. They have agreed to give us a September 1 absolute renewal. So that is about a month to 45 days earlier than usual. It will not, though, allow them to give you an absolute July 1. So what I'm anticipating is a conversation personally with the head underwriter to go through the claims, see if there's anything that they know that we don't know, maybe something that's hit the last couple of weeks, and then come back to you with, hey, if everything's the same, we're gonna say, you know what, we're gonna go in, ask for a rate hold, period, the end, lock in another 2-year period of time, which would be amazing, and go from then. If you have to build in something, probably that 3 to 5%, but that's up to you. You understand your budgets and what parameters you need to take. Any questions on that? And I'll be happy to answer any questions now or later. I just want to be respectful of your time.
Well, first of all, I want to say again, thank you, Ron, for everything you do. You and I work very closely together. For the folks sitting in the audience tonight, I've already called Ron and said I would need some type of projected increase. That's why he's talking about this to me. I'm the fortunate one that sets that budget up, that puts it together. And I want to give the council, and I think we did last year for the first time in many years, a true budget from the commissioner's standpoint, which helped get us back to the situation that we're in today. Dug us out of the red and got us back into the black because we were not even close in previous budgets. As Ron had mentioned, we talked about locking in for 2 years. That was a huge savings for the county, $275,000 it saved the county by doing that. If we can continue that process, naturally I'll build in 5% increase and hope that we're right where we're at. These numbers are outstanding. I do think also, and we talked in our last meeting, and I know Proactive couldn't be here this evening, I think that we have determined finally, and it took a while for that to cycle through, that is a savings in the long run to the health insurance. I know it's a $100,000 expense plus a few bucks, but our people are using it, and it's reflecting in these numbers here. So if we're saving the $275,000, it's worth spending the other 100,000 to make that happen. So, again,
Yeah.
thank you,
You're welcome.
and I appreciate this, and I'm sure these gentlemen do as well.
I wish I could take credit, but at the end of the day, these are decisions that although we've recommended, you've trusted us in those decisions. And at least for now, it's really paying off. And again, if we can lock it in for a 2-year period of time, Anthem, United Healthcare, there's not an insurance company that we're aware of that will lock in a rate for a 2-year period of time, which would be, terrific. Okay? Another thing that we wanted, and I'm glad Corey from Onboard Benefits is here. Our responsibility to you is not just to be an advocate for you and your dollars and any costs, the premiums that the employees put in, but also take a look at your wide range of benefits, from dental to life to disability, et cetera. So we've done that, and we'll make a presentation to you of any recommendations there. But when we hear about processes that bring value to our clients, like onboard benefits, it's our responsibility to, and again, we don't represent onboard benefits, we don't make $1 from onboard benefits, et cetera, but it's our responsibility to bring value by connecting you. And so we were able to recommend Corey to several of our clients. He's done terrific work. He has been already, and I'll let Corey talk, already in your system, working on the system. You have not been charged for that, but now the agreement was to evaluate that, so going into your next budget cycle, whether you assess that value. So with all that being said, Corey, I really appreciate the work you're doing for our great clients, and I'll let you share.
Thanks, Ron. Commissioners, thank you. If you recall, I was here, it was actually last September, and that's when we actually went into an agreement, created, an agreement. In fact, that terms on September 22 of this year, and that was where Bill C. Brown, recommended and agreed to essentially take care of the expense of your BIN admin system, your onboard benefits system. So we bring it up now, certainly as you're looking for a budget, whether we throw numbers out now, but we want to evaluate the effectiveness of it, or, if you want to continue to do it. I'm happy to do it, and I'll say that the onboard system has been here 2 years now. So the last 2 open enrollments that your employees have gone through utilize this system. Over 90% active enrollment, which that might not make, why is that important? That means 90% of your employees are literally looking at their benefits and making an active selection, which is what we want. To make a good consumer, they have to be reviewing the benefit each time they go through it. So those are pretty astounding numbers. I pulled up some numbers today. You have 146 benefit eligible employees. Currently, you have 106 who are logged into the system. So out of those 40-some that are not, 10 of them were hired in this month, in June. Maybe not even, a reason to get in there yet. The other 30 were somewhere within, they didn't go through the last open enrollment. Or they had somebody from Bill C. Brown assisted in their enrollment. So you have great participation in it. And then also that gives access to Bill C. Brown and their associates to help people enroll. Owen County had an employee this past week. We enrolled her by the phone into the system. Again, why is that important? It's the compliance, it's the data integrity, and you've eliminated paper. Obviously, that's kind of an important piece as well. So, again, we've done this the last couple of years. As the budget rolls around, 2 years ago when we first quoted this, it was at $650 a month. I'm looking at likely a bottom number of $500 a month, but I also, and that can go into the record, but also as Ron and company work through renewal, I want to work closely with Bill C. Brown as well to make sure that makes sense. Certainly I would like to continue to work with you guys. Truthfully, our company needs to get paid too, all joking aside, but I think, I kind of look for a bottom dollar number for a group of your size, and I think we could get in at $500 a month.
Well, again, I'm the one that's going to be, we make a decision here as a group, but I'm the one that gets to play with all the numbers. So I will be getting with you, and we'll have direct conversation and pin that down so we can move forward. But I wish Sherry was here She takes care of payroll. Nicole's sitting in this evening for Sheila that's not here. I would have more questions for you but that's not gonna happen this evening because I know Nicole does not participate in that part of the office, so.
And I did reach out to Sherry this morning just in case as well, and she did mention, she didn't have anything specific. She certainly uses it. I mean,
And I'll check with them before I move forward with the budget process, but, there's obviously no complaints, so that's a good thing.
but there you go. Well, I'm going to continue to work with you guys, and again, working with Ron, we'll make sure, we help meet the needs there, so.
We appreciate everything you guys do, really do.
Any questions at all?
Can I ask one, just real quick, Ron, so just a clarification, you had said that September is a possibility of knowing, I just want to make sure, you're saying that there's a possibility at the commissioners meeting in one of their September meetings that they actually could go ahead and lock in for 2 years, so we may know in 60 or so days the actual rate, and know for the employees of Owen County what their rate's gonna be for 2 years.
That's exactly right,
Okay.
which would start January 1,
Sure.
2023.
Right.
Yeah.
We've always adopted it in November, approved it for December to start January 1, but if we can get a 2-month jump on it, that's even better.
Any other questions? All right,
Stay
thanks so much,
close,
really.
stay close to your phone.
Pardon me?
Stay close to
I
your
will,
phone.
I will.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Guys, have a good evening.
Thank you.
Okay. Bypass update. Don't see Kyle. He was basically gonna tell us that he got his grant money and that's about it, so we'll move forward. Health department quotes.
Commissioners, this is the second part of this. Now, this is a quote. There's a difference between the bid, the expectation that these would be under 150,000. If I recall, there was a request and plans and specifications were approved by the commissioners at the last meeting. As far as what the building just right across the street, what we kind of consider the old health building. This is for the roof. My understanding was that there was a minimum of 3 is required by the statute, by local ordinance, but 4 actually were sent out, and it appears that 2 have responded for today. So this is for the repair of the roof of that particular building. Looks like we have quotes from a Building Associates Incorporated. They are located out of Bloomington, Indiana. And then there is a Pell Roofing and Siding Company, and they are located out of Brazil, Indiana. Okay, this is from Building Associates. Building Associates quote. This is for a new 50 mil Duro last roof. They have, looks like follow the specifications here, so their proposal is all furnish all material and labor necessary for the following work based on the roof's current condition, time of proposal. Any further damage to the roof system will be additional cost. They will remove the existing EPDM and fiberboard down to the mod bit roof tar system. They will remove the existing Duralast down to the decking, install 2-inch ISO mechanically attached to the deck for manufacturer specs. They will install a Dural blue separator sheet over the existing tar and parapet walls. Install Duralast 50 mil PVC membrane by mechanically attaching to the manufacturer specs. They will install a last 50 mil PVC membrane up and over the parapet walls by mechanically attached to the manufacturer specs. They will install stacked flashing and pit pockets. They will install 2-piece compression on all interior parapet. They will install 3-inch drip edge on the eave side of the building, and they will clean and remove all debris from the job site. Their quote is for $106,005, 106, $005 and 06, $106,005. ISO, this is that they currently have enough stock to cover the roof, and Duralast has a 45 to 90 day lead time They do not currently have stock for that roof. They do, and then the insurance. And then there's a sign for the quote, but again, 106-005-00. All right, that's Building Associates. This is from Pell Roofing and Siding out of Brazil. Okay. This is Pell, Roofing and Siding out of Brazil. They will do the following. They will, please to quote you labor and materials for the following work to be done on the roof of the building. All work subject to these parapet wall being repaired by contractors prior to the roof installation. They will remove existing roofing, dispose of the same. They will check existing decking and replace as needed. The flue on the center west is not in use, recommending removing existing broke down at the roof line, they fill in the decking. They will remove the existing metal wall cap and dispose of the same. They will install 1 layer of 3/8 Durafold insulation per manufacturer specifications. They will install a 50 mil Duralast roofing system mechanically fastened to all parapets, scrubbers, curbs and drains, and all installed according to manufacturer specifications. They will install a 24 gauge 2-piece snap lock to perimeter edges according to manufacturer specifications. Their base price for this bid is $42,500. $42,500. They do an option. The option of 1 layer of insulation instead of the 3/8 Durafloor would be a base price increase of $6,900. Again, they note that due to the lead time of materials, if they ordered this in July, it would not be available until October of 2022. They will work at the normal business hours and can work around the electricity. So their bid base price is $42,500. They do have an optional increase of $6,900. And these are just their warranties, same as the other. And then this is a duplicate. What they've submitted is two copies. So you have one Building Associates bid of $106,005. You have a roofing and siding company from Pell, and their bid base price is $42,500.
What was the total with the other option, Jim? 48?
I'm sorry. Oh, the other option for the optional was $6,900 for the installation of the layer.
Discussion? Go ahead, Jim.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
it.
And I was gonna do it until when? Didn't they have it?
Well, both of them indicated that there's an order problem lead time, but what they're saying is from Pell specifically, due to the lead time on materials, if we ordered in July, they would not be available to us until October of 2022.
2022.
And that's.
So we had it done here by fall.
I knew they called me, said there'd be a time period.
Not anybody's gonna have to order material.
Yeah, that wasn't available.
Jim, I was looking and I don't seem to have the sheet. I thought I did. Cume cap, 328,000.
Yeah, I think.
I thought I had the list here, but I flipped through all my papers and I.
Just give me 1 second, Commissioner.
Well, I'm sure they got the bid. You know, what difference?
Commissioners, on June 8th, 2022, Cume Capital Development has a balance of $328,439.46.
Any more discussion, gentlemen? Do I hear a motion to approve the Pell agreement for the 48,000, having to do the additional, layer?
No. 6,900 be 49,400.
What's the total again, Bob?
49,400 is what I got.
48,409, okay. Bob made a motion, I'll second that, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Hopefully we'll get some of those wall bids out
But I
soon.
think what we could work then, having that price, if we would shoot for the July 5th meeting, of approving the specifications, we can go through the same process. And Commissioner, will you be notifying the winning bid company? So they.
Do you wanna contact Pels or you want me to?
I can.
Okay, thank you.
I just get a phone number.
Get that for you. All right. Chris, EMS. Got a wore out Tahoe to get rid of.
Yeah, got two things on here, on the list. I'd like to postpone anything as far as repairs on the one ambulance, to give me some time to find another company to get another quote from. We're running into the same problem. The truck's sitting at one place and people don't wanna give quotes without looking at it themselves and diagnosing and stuff like that. I've gotta get one more bid, so we can push that back till the next meeting. And then the second item is the surplus vehicle.
And Nicole, did we able to get a number for the ordinance, the sequence? No.
She thought she wrote it on there, but I informed her that she didn't.
Commissioner, we'll do 50.
I think 15 is the next one.
If not, we can amend that, it's not.
We can amend it,
So
yes.
We'll use that then as ordinance number 2022-0015. Commissioners, this is in respect to a surplus from the EMS. If you approve this ordinance today, then on June 29th of 2022, there is a notice for the surplus auction that's been written out. If that can just be published in the paper by June 29th. The auction itself can commence on July 25th, 2022, and they can conclude the sale on July 31st.
You have this, Nicole.
So this is ordinance number 2022-0015.
I need to publish that.
Ordinance declaring certain personal property as surplus for the Owen County EMS Department. Whereas the Owen County EMS Department has determined that a certain personal property in possession of the EMS Department is no longer valued to the department and desires to have the property sold at public auction. Whereas pursuant to the provisions of Indiana Code 5-22-22 and sequence, the Owen County Board of Commissioners has determined and declared the property as surplus with an estimated total value of less than $5,000. Now therefore be it ordained by the Owen County Board of Commissioners the following. Section 1, personal property to be sold. A, the following item of personal property of the Owen County EMS Department is declared to be surplus property and is hereby ordered to be sold to the highest bidder at the public auction to be held on July 25th of 2022. This is on an internet auction site maintained by govdeals.com. Item to be sold, number 1, a 2010 Chevrolet Tahoe SSV with the VIN number of 1GNUKAEOXAR 129295. Section 2 auction. Pursuant to Indiana Code 5-22-22-4.5, the purchase agency may sell surplus property using an internet auction site that satisfies both of the following. The site is approved by the official technologies established by Indiana Code 4-13.1-2-1, and the site is linked to the electronic gateway administrated by Indiana Code 4-13.1-2-285 by the Office of Technology. The purchasing agency's posting of the sale of the internet auction must include a detailed description of the surplus property sold. The purchasing agency may pay the cost of conducting the auction on the internet site as required by the person maintaining the auction site. Section 3, notice of publication. Pursuant to Indiana Code 5-22-2211A, this notice of sale must be given by the publication of the time, place, and terms of the sale provided by Indiana Code 5-3-1 in the county where the property is located. The publication shall be made at least 15 days prior to the date of sale. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect upon its adoption and publication required by
You thought I wasn't very good, did you?
passed and adopted by the Board of Commissioners of Owen County, State of Indiana, in the regular meeting on today's date and month of 2022. Owen County Board of Commissioners, three, President, Robert, Vice President, Delta West Commissioner, Sheila Reeves, Auditor.
And Jim, good news, as Nicole dug through papers, it was 20015, so we were right on the money. So, do I hear a motion to approve ordinance number 2022-0015, surplus of a EMS vehicle?
I'm gonna make that motion.
I've got a motion by Dale, second by Bob, all in favor? Aye.
And Chris, I do know that the Highway Sheriff's Department operation have used that. I would suppose your best contact would be Matt Miller, the Chief Deputy. I think he could walk through the specifics of the program.
Yeah, you're right, Jim, he's had a lot of practice, and I think maybe the highway has done it a few
Yeah.
times as well, so. And Nicole has got the advertisement for,
I've got a copy. I just
Okay.
think there's that.
Unless you guys have anything for me?
just quick question, you got your employees a raise, are you going to post the position to relieve some pressure off of you?
I will. Yes.
Just concerned about that, Chris, we've collected that money for 2 years from the taxpayers, and we need to put it to use.
Okay.
I know it's gonna help you because you've been under a lot of pressure the last couple of years, so.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm reluctant until the next council meeting, and I'll make sure that the additional appropriation gets funded for the raises and everything.
Correct.
But yeah, I'm working on that as we speak. Or not as we speak, but I'm working on it.
In the plans.
Yeah. So,
Thank you.
all right.
Armory lease.
Commissioners, you had asked me to draft a Armory lease. The actual lease agreement that is in place now does not technically expire until the end in December of this year. It's my understanding, information was given that there was a need for the renegotiation of the lease. So this lease, if so entered into, would actually begin and become effective on September 15th, 2022. Anyone know, why 15? That's just continuing the prior lease. So there's no day that there's open. So for whatever reason, which would maybe probably tell us since like 4 years ago, that started on the 15th, so that's continued. So that's just a minor point. The term of this lease will be for 4 years. It, for the first 2 years, this is a rate increase. The lease would be for $2,500 per month. That's for year 1 and year 2. It increases, there's an automatic increase for years 3 and year 4, and that goes up to $2,600 a month. There's a standard deposit that there would be late. It's my understanding in the 4 years previous that there's never been a late payment, or there's never been a non-payment. That has never happened, but that standard would go in there. There's restrictions, of course, those consistent that this would be the use of what we call what's typically called the Armory building, that there was a commercial purpose, that the continuation of gymnastics and dance lessons of some type, and there's a before and after daycare facility and summer camps and such. Those would continue. There is a retainer on that particular building for the Indiana National Guard. If the Indiana National Guard, for some reason, would ever return, that they would be allocated a room, and the lease covers that. And so this isn't that the gymnastics, we'll call the gymnastics camp, gets the whole building, it's certain areas, and then that's all spelled out. But it's no change in how they've been using the building the past 4 years. Mandatory insurance coverage, $1 million, $2 million aggregate. they must have certificates of insurance with Owen County, and those must be provided as part of the lease. Would go in, they will now pay up to the maintenance, so the responsibility will be on the gymnastics camp for repairs up to $1,500 per year. So that is a change, quite openly, that is a benefit to the county. This is a rate increase, that is a benefit to the county. So both of those are there. Most of the other standard things, remedies as far as taxes, improvements and such, really have absolutely no change. So if you were interested in doing this, this is a typical contract. If you want to proceed, probably the very best way would be to set a date where the leasees of Kathleen's Gymnastics, that would be, I may mispronounce the names, I do apologize, but a Richard Zufall and a Kathleen McPhee, if they could set a date where they would be present here, that they could go ahead and approve the contract and sign it. That would be my recommendation, but you have time between now and September 15th, whatever would work best.
We have a meeting on September the 6th. That would probably be the best to do that. I know that they want to just sign around the 15th. So if you want to put that in the minutes, we'll request them to be here on the 6th. This is a really good change for Owen County. The original lease was signed back in, or the last lease was signed back in 18 for $1,500 a month, and then it was a responsibility at the time of the auditor's office to send them any utility bills that exceeded $799. That never happened. For whatever reason. Past tense doesn't matter now, but that figured up to be about a $40,000 loss for Owen County over a 4-year period. We're not here to lose money. I totally support what's going on over there. Kathleen and Rick have been very understanding. They don't expect to be a charity case. So we worked this out for their benefit, for the benefit of Owen County. It's a daycare, after school programs. It's a gymnastics for the high school. So there's a lot of things that's going on down there. And they understood. They had no problem with this. We've increased it every 2 years for any inflation-related issues, any utilities that might go up. Before the county was eating the maintenance 100%, they're willing to put in some, the first $1,500 there. So I think it's a really good thing. Anytime that we can save money, and that's our job, that's a good thing, but we still continue the program. And the reason that it's 5 years, that's what the state allows, but also they have talked about their children continuing this when they retire, and they're talking about that maybe for the next 4 to 5 years. So we put that 5th-year option in there so they can continue on with their children leasing the property. At that time, if that happens, then we'll do another 5-year extension. So this is something that can go on for many years and be a benefit to Owen County. So.
Where are you gonna make up the difference in the money on that level? I know you were about one say a couple meetings ago that it cost the county $5,000 a month or something to.
I just said we lost $40,000 in utilities. We just made it up by adding $1,000 a month.
You said it cost $5,000 a month is what it costs to run the building. We're making, was it 25? Is that right? So I'm just curious, I mean, because I know you had said recently something about the possibility of like leasing out some more of it or something.
And that's a very good possibility.
What happens if that doesn't happen? Are we just still gonna eat that difference? I mean, we're still eating money, maybe not as much, but I'm just wondering where.
With the increase, it didn't figure out to be $5,000.
Okay.
With the increase in the rent of $1,000, we are now in the black by a few $1,000s at the end of the year.
So the county won't have to expend any money as far as.
None. That's the whole idea of this, the whole purpose. Now,
that original figure.
we have several offices that were vacated by the detectives department. The highway, we used it for a little bit while they were down and out. So we're looking at leasing these other offices and these other buildings down there The basement area as well. We have a health building that we're gonna do some changing around. We've talked about that for quite some time. So yeah, the county's gonna make more money off of this building. Instead of losing money that this county has done year after year after year, we're going to go the other way and make sure that the taxpayers are getting value for their dollar.
I was just calling that figure, so I was just curious.
And it was off.
And that's okay, things happen.
And something else that we found out that we're gonna work on, we had that building appraised. All right, that building was appraised for $380,000 ballpark. I don't have that appraisal in my hand right now. But our insurance company has us insured at $1 million. So now I've got to go back to John Parmalee and get that reduced. So there's more savings. So it's process. It takes time. But to do these things, you have to dig into them and find out where you came from and where we're going. And I think we're going in a better direction.
Sounds good.
So, but anyway, let's make a motion on the lease agreement. Is everybody in favor?
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion by Dale. Do I hear a second? Second by Bob. All in favor? Aye. And let's set that up for September the 6th for signature. And Rick and Kathleen are totally content with this. And I think it's a good thing for everyone. I'm sure some of you out there's children have participated in their programs over the years, so. Okay.
Some of them might later.
Yeah. Jump back here to take-home vehicle discussion. Bob, do you want to start that discussion?
Well, we trying cost of fuel, estimating everything, and it keeps going up. What we commissioners control is like EMS, EMA, and I can't remember the other one now.
Building department,
Building department.
maintenance.
Well, the maintenance, we already.
We already parked that one, yep. Just want to make sure that you put those in there.
Yep.
This time last year, fuel was about $2.70, 75 cents. I don't have to tell you, right now, it's almost double that. Again, we need to look at every avenue that we can to help these budgets. So Bob, do you making a motion, to park the commissioner-appointed vehicles for no more take-home vehicle until we get, till further notice?
Till further notice, I'll make that motion, Gary.
I'll ask a question on that, Mr. President, before you vote. So you're gonna park one of the EMS vehicles, Jack's vehicle, is that right? Emergency vehicles.
They're not the same as the sheriff department or as Dan would be.
Response 24 hours a day. I don't have that luxury, 8-4 job, so I've worked that 24-hour shifts.
We're not.
All nights and days, so I can tell you, all nights and days, both Jack and.
But when he's on a shift, he's at work.
Right, but what I'm saying, he responds all the time as a third ambulance, because we don't have enough ambulances to cover the county. The man comes out all hours of the night, so he's supposed to drive his personal vehicle for that time? Jack's the same way, I can't tell you over my time, back and forth for 30 years, Jack's, he comes out all the time and helps out with different emergencies, calls things in.
And Bob made the comment that with Jack's situation, and Bob, I'm not gonna say it for you, but you said he was gonna go to his office before he went anywhere.
I mean, if he gets called, where does he go? Come in your office, don't you, Jack?
Depends on what the call is.
Well, yeah, but the main thing is, you're not out here hauling, let me say, at midnight or something.
He does.
You're 2 miles out, you're not that far out.
I'm gonna jump in.
Jump in, Sam.
And not to be no discredit to nobody, but it's wrong. I've been the sheriff here for 8 years, I've been working this for 15 years. And I know both of these gentlemen come out, they go on calls, they don't come into the office and go, it all depends on what call it is. Chris Lunsford and Jack Bolt, I've been on numerous calls when they come in their vehicle for different things, for different reasons. Jack White lives a half a mile out of town or 3/4 mile out of town. Your savings for him, just basic savings on a year to park his vehicle is $250. Now, somebody's life is worth more than $250. Take it straight up. Chris Lunsford's the same way. People's lives are, I know gas is high, and I understand, believe me, we understand wholeheartedly. How much are you saving? Have you figured it out? Have you done figures and totals?
It's quite hard to do.
It is, and
It is very hard.
what I'm saying to you is all three of you up there. And here's the bottom line, some people don't like Jack White. I'll call it like I see it. That's what it boils down to. But I've been in the situation, and Alan McBride has been in the situation, and Chris Lunsford's been in the situation where we called him, he had to go do something for us, an emergency situation, not coming to his office. These guys are critical situations for the county, and if $250 is gonna cost this county, and I know what you're trying to say, and I appreciate it, I really do, because gas is high. This is wrong. This is a wrong decision to make.
How much would $5,000, how much would $5,000 save for them to continue to use their vehicles?
It would give somebody a raise.
Send us back.
That's for the taxpayers.
You three spent $5,000 for lawn furniture. Lawn furniture.
Out of a budget that doesn't affect anything else.
I'm taking a vote from you, Gary, it's taxpayer money, it's my money.
Then I could also take away the cleaning.
Do whatever you think you need to do. That's kind of how you're running things, isn't it?
No, we still have the
This is
cleaning.
$5,000 for lawn furniture that you three agreed to put out on this courthouse lawn, and they're gonna turn around and take these emergency responders' vehicles away. Please put that in the newspaper, take away the clinic. That was a threat. Make
Well,
sure
I'm just
that's
saying, what's the
counted.
difference?
In the newspaper, make sure that's counted, that was a threat. I'm tired of it. $5,000, you three voted to put lawn furniture on the courthouse lawn. I'm a taxpayer, don't threaten me with that clinic again. I'm a taxpayer, let me talk. The assessor made.
We're not to public comment.
I'm sorry?
We're not to public
Well, I'm
comment yet.
taking another book from you at Monday night's meeting, ma'am. I'll say whatever I want. It's freedom of speech. Isn't that what you said?
Go for
Yes, you
it.
did, I will. There was a mistake made on my home taxes. Your assessor won't fix it because he won't fix anything that Kenny put into play. So I'm paying it. So by God, I'm gonna watch for my money. That was the most irresponsible expense I've ever seen in my life. And you're gonna take away their emergency vehicles? What a joke. What a joke.
I just, on my end of it, is I've been on the emergency side of both of these guys right here, on critical situations. And what you're trying to say, and I appreciate what you're trying to say, it's not worth it. Because somebody's life is worth a whole lot more than just $250. And I know for a fact from Chris Lunsford, when he takes his vehicle call, he gets called, I listen to the radio. I know the man jumps in and goes to these calls because he's shorthanded. I want to support these guys as their first responders, whether you think maybe they don't do much or they don't do anything or whatever. And I've heard it all about Mr. White. He's the kind of guy that you hope you never have to call. But I also know one thing, that when I do call him and need something or anybody else, he's the guy that you need on that end. And to save $250, it's not worth it. That's my opinion on it.
Well, we could table this till further discussion, put some numbers together, because it costs $140 to fill a pickup truck. So if we were half of that last year, $250, you could save in a week.
Put some limitations on where the others that you didn't take away are going to.
But
We get complaints all the
But
time.
he has to drive the vehicle. He has to drive his vehicle. The only gas that you're trying to save is when he drives back and forth to work. That's all you're saving. You're not saving when he drives during the day.
Drain the ocean with them.
I mean, that's my take on it. And I understand you're trying to save money. this is a drop in the bucket, that they don't amount to hill beans.
Okay, Gary, let's put it this way then. We go ahead and leave him with his fuel, leave him with his vehicle. But you gotta be very thrifty on where you drive, how often you drive. Let's try to save. Don't sit there and let it idle for 15, 20 minutes. Cooling down your air conditioning in the morning so you can come to work so you're not too hot. Let's try to be a little bit thrifty on using the fuel we're using and stuff. And let's say the same way with your deputies, you know, Sam, and let's try to work together. I don't wanna fight with anybody, and I definitely don't wanna fight you. You quit your job and left this county because you didn't think you was getting enough, come back begging for it 2 days later.
Pardon me?
You come back begging for your job 2 days
We'll
later.
talk about this later, man to man. By the way, the company will take that furniture back. I called them, they'll take it back.
It's not your business.
I'm sorry? I'm a taxpayer. That's not my business? Oh my goodness.
That's not exactly
No,
how I
you guys
meant
speak
it.
differently because you think I'm a county employee, I don't have the right to speak. I paid high.
I didn't say you didn't have a right to
You just told me it wasn't my
speak.
business, Bob.
Alan,
I'll
you just wanna
respectfully have
argue
this
to be
discussion with you
argued.
later.
You just wanna argue to be argued.
No, I want something done financially responsible.
We're trying to work
Fiscally
together here.
responsible is the words you guys used at the last meeting. There's somebody out here who disagrees with me, they just don't say it. Check where your vehicles that you aren't taking around on Friday nights. Check them. We get complaints on it all the time. You'd be real surprised if you did that. Thank you.
We're just about there, Jeff, if you can hang on, let me finish up with elected officials. So we're gonna table this discussion for the time being. We had a motion. I don't know that I ever got a second on it. So, do I hear a motion to table?
Go ahead,
I make a motion, we table this.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye. Again,
Who's that?
do your jobs the best you can.
We'll save any time we can, we understand.
We all know where we came from the last year and a half, 2 years, the gutter, what we're trying to get back. We're trying to save money at the Armory, we're trying to save money with insurance. Yeah, we spent $5,000 out here. It makes the courthouse look like a halfway decent place. I come by here Friday night, I've seen people sitting out there on it, and I guarantee you they're taxpayers.
I think, as commissioner, we got a budget.
Sure.
And if we do something to help this courthouse out.
We have that right.
I'm all for it.
And it's out there, so, anyway, speaking of that, and Baron, I'll get to you just in a second. We approved that, but we didn't approve what fund we were gonna pay that from. And I'd like to make a motion that we pay that from CUMCAP. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion made by myself, seconded by Bob, all in favor? Aye. Okay. We're down to Baron.
Baron Marnett from Jackson Township, up there around Kuno. Some of you have already got copies of this. This is something I put out quite a while back in February. But I wanted you to have something to reference to, so that you can see what I'm talking about. Jim, do you have one? I got one. You got one. If anybody else wants a copy of it, I'm filling in on this chair here. Basically what happens, this is your copy if you want to see one. Basically what I want to bring up is what I've read so far. And over the last few months, I've gone back and reread. And I realized that, you know, just because I read a law and I'm not a lawyer, doesn't make me an idiot, but at least allows me the opportunity to form an opinion on the law that I read. And so what this piece of paper does here is it looks at just the tip of the iceberg of the involvement and the intricacy of doing the comprehensive plan under this Indiana Code 36. I think if you look through here, you'll say, well, you know, this ain't right and that ain't right. Well, let me give you an example of what I went into. Like on 36-7-4-207, I wrote down there at the bottom, it says no elected people, only appointed people. Now, let me explain that when I say no appointed people. Yes, we're gonna have two elected people that'll be on that board. And whether they use, you know, one of the, they've got what they call, the 7 and what's the other one called? 7 and 9 boards that they come with. There's all different kinds of boards. The thing about it is they always get outvoted. And that's the way these things are set up, because if you go through the law and you read it, it takes a long time, it's over 140 pages. If you go through it, you'll see that it's just completely packed with wonderful, just beautiful language. And it's very impressive. I mean, the people that wrote this are experts at this. But what they're selling is not what you pledge to allegiance to the flag. You pledge allegiance to a republic, a representative form of government. If you go with this stuff, right, then you've got all of these boards, right, made out of appointed people, right, and they just outvote you all the time. So it's not in the best interest of the people, and it does not follow what you pledge to as a Republican. I think there's a couple of things I want to bring up, and that was down there at the bottom of the first page. It says that some of their powers was to secure grants, read terms of said grants. What happens is, a lot of these things, which we've seen in the past, the 27 years I've been here, you get this grant money that has fish hooks with it. So they say, oh yeah, we're gonna give you $500,000. Well, okay, you get $500,000. Well, it also says in the grant that every year after that, you have to pay so much to maintain it, which now you're back in the taxpayers' pockets again. So there's a lot of fish hooks in this thing. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing, it takes too much time. But the main thing about it is on the very last page, under second from the bottom, it says the development authority, which is what you're gonna go into when you adopt this comprehensive plan, established under Code 36, local government. It's a separate body corporate, and it's a political form from county government. So what's happened is our form of government has changed. So yeah, you got a couple elected officials, you got 5, or you got 7, or whatever, unelected officials, and they're making decisions on taxation, where they're gonna spend the money, what county gets it, what county doesn't get it, right? And it just goes on and on. And then, like it says up here on 36-7-415, it says turning the county into districts under planning unit development, PUD programs. That's all part of the scheme. They don't need townships. You don't need county lines. Because now everything's on districts and in regions. It falls all under regionalism. And so the form of government that we have here is gone. You voted for it, you put it into place, and now the government's changed. Because you didn't read the law and you didn't understand what it is that you read. And my plea to you, okay, right, is to remember what you pledged to the flag. A Republican form of government. This is not, this is regionalism. And it's by a bunch of people that are appointed. Now, this is great for land developers. Oh, this is a godsend for land developers. How about corporations? Oh, this is wonderful. Throw all that money they're supposed to be paying back on the backs of the taxpayers. Let them pay for it. This is not good for the people of Owen County. And that's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Baron. Marcia, you have any comments? I'm going to give you an opportunity.
First of all, the comprehensive plan is not law. It is a prerequisite document in order for the county to redo its ordinances and policies. Since we have begun this process, every single individual who has given feedback to this process has been from each small town and each township and all the areas in the county, which was a strategic decision in order to receive feedback from everyone in our county. It does not divide the county up into regions. It maintains those townships, and in fact, we continue to encourage feedback from each of those townships so that we can hear the voices of what needs to happen there. It is simply what the Owen County citizens would like to see Owen County look like within the next 10 years. However, that being said, it still is a pie in the sky idea. It comes down to what happens following the comprehensive plan with the ordinances and policies that the county commissioners and the planning commission would put in place in order for that to actually be a law and to go into effect. I would encourage all kinds of public feedback. I want to hear all of that, because from what I said from the get-go, is the only way this plan will be successful is for it to be a plan of the people, by the people, for the people.
Just thought I'd better give you a chance to speak on that. Okay, elected officials, department heads. Christine?
I just wanted to bring up that, so the state had informed me this afternoon that we will have to continue free testing in our community till December 31st, which unfortunately, I was hoping that was done. But it's not. So.
Are they providing grant funds to continue that?
They will give us more money to continue for those 6 months. And the terms are a little different. It won't be as strenuous on us as it's been in the past. So.
Are we testing every day?
We will not, and no, we are not now.
I didn't think we were now, but I'm just asking, what are they expecting from us?
They haven't really given us that goal, they just said.
Are we 2 days a week now?
We're 4 days a week
4
right
days.
now, and I'm hoping, to get it even less than that. Because, and just for the community to be aware, tests are completely free. We also have home tests. You can buy tests, it's the same test you go to Walmart and buy, we have them for free. All you have to do is ask for them. So, I just wanna let, the state provides that for the community.
Sure, thank you for getting that out.
You guys aware of that, so.
Yeah, I'd heard last week, I think, that Monroe County on the radio that they had 20,000 tests through their health department for people to come and pick them up. So I don't know how we're getting that information out here in Owen County, but we need to get that out more than just in this meeting, but.
Right, well, and we've tried to put it on our Facebook page and, just word of mouth basically, and the newspaper, but. So, anyone you know needs a test, don't go to Walmart to buy it, we got plenty of free ones.
I'd be more than happy to put that out on the chamber social media if that would.
That would be great.
Okay.
Any help we can get would be
Yes.
great. I've bought 2 of them personally myself the last couple of weeks, so not that it's a big deal, but hey,
Yeah.
free is free.
Free is free.
Any other, Sam?
The only thing I got, I passed that to you guys, got the jail inspection for 2022. We just now got a copy, we've done February, but we just got it today. I gave Jim a copy and I left a copy up there for Sheila, also forwarded it to the prosecutor and the judges as well. So.
And I will go through it and take a look at it. Listen to any recommendations that you might have in the next 6 months.
We need to sit down sometime and go through some things that probably gonna have to do with the jail, just to maintain.
I'd like to think that we wouldn't have to spend a penny on it between now and the end of the year, but I know that's not real, so.
I like to think that as well.
Okay. Jeff, did you have something for public comment here?
Yeah, Commissioners, Jeff Morris, Morgan Township, I guess you know that by now, but anyway, I have a few comments. The first comment relates to some questions from a previous Commissioners meeting. We talked about the Armory tonight. It was also mentioned in a previous meeting that there was an appraisal of a bit of land south of here, off of State.
It's actually Franklin Road off 43.
Yes. This is a question not of why or what. What is the current purpose for that land? Or is it, how do we get it?
It was part of the Oak County home,
Oh, okay. Okay.
part of that property.
Oh, so when they made the,
When they broke that out, and Becky Brown, so we ended up, we've got 85 acres on the north side of Franklin Road. We have 100 acres on the south, 103. one small part of that used to be, and I'm going back 40 years ago, used to be part of the county landfill. It has been deemed by IDEM, and I checked with IDEM myself, we can develop on that property now. So that's how we acquired it.
Okay, so I just didn't know, and that's.
What we're trying to do, Jeff, is turn
Yeah.
untaxable property into taxable property,
And-
to develop it at some point somehow.
So my comment is, it's always useful, and I know you guys can't do this, but sometimes you guys go so fast through stuff that we don't, those of us sitting out here don't know what's going on. And I don't know, you know, they're already long enough meetings, so I don't know how you deal with that. Just, and which brings me to my next comment, which is, so I believe that this is a representative government, and we elected you guys to represent us. And I think there's a difference between a democracy where everybody gets to say what they think, okay, and a representative government where people we elect reflect on what we think and then take action. Which brings me to my request to maybe move public comment further up in the meeting so we don't disrupt the meeting. And those people in the public who have a comment can make it before you guys make your decisions.
It's a good point.
Okay.
Now, can I?
Sure, absolutely.
Before I came on as commissioner, they had 2 morning meetings, no evening meetings at all. Have any idea why they did that?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know that the public access law in the state of Indiana, we do not have to listen to any public comment, 0.
Right.
I personally moved it to a night meeting and let public get involved because I think that that's what needs to happen. But we do not have to have any public comment at all, 0. And what you said was, we were put here by the public.
Right.
So whatever we say, we're representing the public. That is correct. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that. Trying to be flexible, don't have to be at all. We can go back to morning meetings and note the public won't be here and nobody will know anything because we don't have a newspaper anymore. But we're not doing that.
So, to my third point, there is frustration in this room and there's frustration out there. And you guys are representing us, and that's good, okay? As it currently exists, before the whole comment about public comments, we get exactly one opportunity to make our voice heard, and that's in the ballot box, okay? And if we don't like what we're hearing, we can vote you out or whatever. My opinion, it's my opinion, the pressure cooker is not as bad as it was last year, but it's still on in Owen County. There's a lot of pressure in Owen County. And I would like to figure out ways to get the county to move forward, which you guys are doing, I'm not suggesting you're not, without building up all the pressure. So
Sign me up.
So I will address it to this, but I just don't think there's room for anger sitting back here or sitting up there. And the way we do that is we have a combination of interactions back and forth. Final comment, that's why I like that public comment at the beginning, but you guys tabled it. I understand the whole thing about saving money on gasoline and all that kind of stuff. I think that there's a way to get all this done. But you say the following. You say, we're gonna keep you guys from taking home your vehicles where minutes don't matter. But where minutes matter, we want you, as employees of the county, to do the best you can to save the money, but we recognize that minutes matter. So that's a kind of a hybrid between don't take home the vehicles and you gotta do whatever you want. So think about, as we go forward, think about the impact of earlier comments or whatever. I can't engineer it, I'm just sitting here, but I'm just trying to, those are my comments. Oh, and one last thing. I know we have a discussion about the jail. We tabled the discussion about the jail. But I also, as a taxpayer, and you guys are our representatives, I'm still not understanding how we're gonna materialize enough money more than we already have. Okay. Unless there are some ways to do a little bit, but not a lot, right? So when it comes along next year, you guys, as our representatives, are gonna still be bound by how much money we have, is that correct?
That is absolutely correct, and what you're referring to is, it's our job to try to save as much money as we can. And it's a council's job not to spend any more than they have to. Those two things have to work together. We tried to look at a $15 million jail project for this county because that's what we thought that the max that we could possibly spend.
Right.
That was refurbishing a jail that within 10 years would need to be redone again before the mortgage ever got paid off. We're all smart enough to realize that's not gonna work, so we put it on hold. We also learned that we couldn't build a $15 million jail, correct, Sam? Reality now is, within the next couple of years, we still have to build a jail. I don't know what this inspection report says yet. I'll go through it and see. Still haven't had the federal or state come down and tell us that we had to do this like they have done in Terre Haute over the years. But we're gonna be looking at a $25 to $30 million jail, maybe more because of inflation rate. So we as a county have to save $5, $6, $7 million to pay down on that property or that building to where we can afford it. $1 million in our general fund, not gonna work. We have to have some serious money. Any other public comment?
I got nothing, sir. I got to walk out of the room because I did not want to agitate your meeting more than I already had. I'm not going to apologize. The only person that matters to me whatsoever in the world is this woman right here who just drove into town to support me. I will not walk out of this meeting before I will tell you, I did not beg for my job back. I have dedicated my life to this community. I was told it's not your business, but I was told because of a medical condition that I have, that it was gonna cost me money to go up there. You're right, I was looking for money, because I damn well deserve one what I was paid. But I will not walk out of this meeting and have you degrade me for what I have done, the lives that I have saved, the babies that I have helped born, the hours that I have worked, and the time that I have given, for you to sit up there and tell me I begged for my job back. I didn't beg for nothing, and if somebody told you that, they're a damn liar. You owe me an apology, Bob Curry. I've known you all my life. I've supported you all my life. You owe me an apology. Nothing more said. My public comment is done.
Don't
You wanna
walk.
talk out here, I'll talk.
Don't walk.
I'll talk.
Attorney comments?
No.
I'll have to pass. I'm sorry.
I'll just make it real quick. I was 30 minutes late. I apologize at the town council meeting. Was there any conversation before the 6:30 mark on permit requirements for infrastructure right of ways?
No,
Do you know when that will be on?
we'll have to put it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And that will be the 5th, if I'm not mistaken. Nicole, you don't have any comments because you are standing in. Commissioner comments.
I think I said too much now, Gary. I apologize for some of my things and stuff, but when anger comes towards me, anger comes back. Trash in, trash out, and I apologize, I really do. I shouldn't let my temper get to me. I'm an elected official, and we've all had our disagreements and stuff, and I try to be a gentleman, and I do apologize. And I am very sorry. But I don't like to be called a liar and fingers pointed at me either. I mean, I've known Alan all my life, and he's like his dad. That's how well I know him. And anybody knows his dad knows what I'm talking about. And Dave was a very fine man. We was good friends.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Mark, thank you for your comments. Mark, if you got 2 seconds,
Our next.
we're waiting.
Our next meeting
It's
is
July
on
5th.
Tuesday.
Yeah, July 5th. Correct. Yeah, Tuesday.
Yes.
I'm waiting on another appraisal to come in on both of these properties.